DJ and PK, it's time for Hot Takes or Toast. The question of the morning. The big game is upon us. What's gonna happen?
We're going to win.
David, BYU in a nail biter.
A nail biter.
At least I hope so.
Well, that's not that big of a deal because you define it as a big deal as a knuckle biter.
Yep, when the nails are gone, then you're
the only person who does that.
possibly.
Guaranteeably.
No, I think there's some dude in Kansas. Same thing. Travis says BYU 28-24. 28 points. That would be the most points that Texas Tech has given up all season.
That's a fact.
It's a big number. But Case likes that number because he says BYU 28-20.
Yeah, if that happens, I still wonder if they'll find a way to keep BYU out.
No, they'll have an automatic bid.
Yeah, but still.
Change the rules. Saturday afternoon.
Discover something, an ineligible player.
Nathan dismisses the question. The big game is upon us. Ohio State already won that game, pal.
Pal?
Pal. That's what he says. P-A-L. Pal.
That's not Police Athletic League when I was a kid.
That's no, he did not capitalize it. It's not capitalized.
Pal. That's always a dismissive term.
It is. Fraught with dismissiveness. Clint, BYU 34, Texas Tech 31. That seems like 28, 34. These seems like massive numbers for the third-ranked Texas Tech defense to giving up like 11 points a year,
and then
11 points a game.
Then Parker Kingston returns a punt.
Yep. Get them on special teams, get a pick six, scoop and score,
Defense
short field.
Doesn't have anything to do with it, maybe. I mean, I think that's what you have to have.
If you're getting to those kind of numbers, you got to figure something like that happens.
Yeah, and who cares if you get to that number, how it happens, obviously. It doesn't matter.
Nope.
Those points count just the same. It's kind of crazy. This is the crazy thing about football is that, you spend so much time offense, defense, and then something else can happen that is just totally unexpected one way or the other. And certainly that got them off to a bad start down in Lubbock with a muffed punt there. Just like, oh, my gosh. Clearly, they're going to have to eliminate all of those things. I don't think they can have even a slightly sloppy game. I think they're doomed. It has to be clean. You cannot go. It drives me nuts so many times. And I wish there was a study on that. It just seems like there's so many more procedure penalties that can you just look at the ball? If you can't hear, you go, oh, well, it's crowd. Well, just look at the ball then. And don't move. And is it 1st and 15 or 2nd and 3? Now it's 2nd and 8. Is that 3 plus 5 is 8? Hopefully.
Yes.
Yeah, and
nailed it.
Drives me nuts when you see that, and they just can't afford to do any of that stuff. I'm not saying it has to be perfect, but it just can't be sloppy. You're going to make a mistake. You're going to get penalized. That's understood. Very few times are there mistake-free games, or teams have 0 penalties. That'd be great if they could. But on this, it just has to be something that is a clean performance. And I think they're capable of doing that.
We haven't seen Texas Tech under pressure very often this year. So can you put them under pressure? Maybe they make the mistake. Maybe they muff the punt, drop the pass. But it seems like once you get in front and the pressure's off, there's a lot less of that usually. And obviously in the first meeting, BYU made the early mistakes and the pressure was off Tech and they could play free and easy.
Yeah, I think it's been like the 2004 Ute season that they just mauled everybody, start to finish. 2008 was a little different, but 2004 just seemed like, and I realize they've lost a game here, but I think their schedule that they played this year is tougher than what that 2004 team played. And, yeah, they do. They have so much confidence for a very good reason. They absolutely should. And you have to put some doubt in their minds. They always sure if you can jump on them and put some doubt early, great. But just make yourself, I think for me, I'll settle for a first quarter where I may not have put doubt in them, but they didn't put doubt in us. and see how the game progresses. Because the thing about the feel of that game when you're watching it, I was watching it on television. Hopefully the airlines can get me out of here today. I'm nervous about that to get to Dallas. But, you can sense it more in my experience since I've covered 1 million games and watched a trillion games on television as you have. You can sense it more in the stadium, but you can still sense it on the television too. And it was clear they're running uphill right from the start. So at minimum, don't do that.
With Texas Tech, that happened in both the BYU and Utah games. Do you remember in the ASU game? Did they get behind early in that one? Was that the one? Did they? It was
like 19-7, and then ASU's special teams were atrocious this year, and they had a couple of screw-ups, like 30-yard punts. Their punting sucked, and so that Tech was able to capitalize on that. And they did take the lead, but it looked like for most of the game, the Devils were up a score or two, and then they got down because of short fields. But then obviously they had the late drive, and Jordan Tyson was just out of his mind, as he tended to be this year.
He tends to be.
Yeah.
He's better than everybody in college football.
Yeah, and so that got him there. And that's how they ended up losing that game. But at least show, because think about it here. You can't, and teams who lose the games like to do this. I get it. So, and I'm guilty of it. So you have that first possession. It's like, oh, okay, look, just like the Utes, the offense is going nowhere. But then the defense comes out and gets some sacks, gets in Morton's face, right? And you're thinking, hey, man, this is the way they're going to win. It's going to be a defensive, low-scoring game, right? And you're feeling a little sense of, all right, BYU's defense has been good for the last 2 years. They got a lot of guys back. And you're thinking, and you got their emergency set to wall on the back end, thinking, all right, we can win this, but it's going to be low scoring. But who cares, right? And then the muffed punt, and you think, just sucked all the air out of it.
It did.
And then that Tech just starts dominating some more, and you're thinking,
well, when
what's the final score going to be?
They put together a long drive. They went 92 yards on the next possession. Now it's 10-0, and now it's still the first quarter, and all the pressure. I mean, that whole crowd.
It was just party time from that time on. Yeah,
it's party. Like, we're going to do this. And the Texas Tech sideline is thinking, we're going to do this.
Right, and it was a coronation of Texas Tech, at least nationally, arriving as a big-time team. Now, I had them and Iowa State in the final, so I got it half right. To me, this is what I expected them to do, maybe a little better. If you want to argue, did you have them being this good? I think I'd say, probably not, but I did have them here being really good. The money that was spent, the players that we followed going in there, and this was design, man. This is the best design, like best plan that has come to pass that I've seen in a while, because they bring in, particularly on the defensive end, they bring in 6 one-and-done guys. I mean, they knew it's now or never. These guys are literally out of eligibility. They can't concoct some year or somehow, some way in which these players seem to do it these days. No, they're all done. And the plan that they put together, and you got to give them credit for targeting these individuals and going out and getting them and having them then come in, and everything they thought of them and why they went after and got them came to pass. Yeah, I see why. And here we are. That's why they're this good. This is what was supposed to be, and it happened. It's like the Dodgers. You spent all that money, you're supposed to do this, and you did it.
Love it when a plan comes together,
yeah.
Unless you're the one taking the beating from those teams.
But in a sense, I admire them. And am I jealous? Sure.
Well, the other way to win is to get enormously lucky. I mean, to have a plan and to invest in it and to get it right. And we've seen plenty of plans.
Or maybe overachieve. I mean, the Devils last year overachieved. This team is not overachieving to date. Maybe if we're sitting here in down the line and they're playing Ohio State and they beat them, okay. But to date, who we knew the
they were
teams
supposed
that
to be
they play,
in the Big 12 title game. You don't spend that kind of money to miss the Big 12 title game.
And they hit on the guys that they plan to hit on.
And sometimes you hit on one side of the football, you figure that out, you're a little better at that, but And we haven't even talked about trying to stop their offense, which is averaging 43 points a game, which, like the defense at 11, is also third in the country. So there's excellence all over the place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the offense was decent last year. The defense was horrendous. This is where they needed
more help.
Emphasis and new players. And I don't begrudge them in the least. Not at all. I was listening the other day to my guys, JJ and Alex, and they had somebody on and from Texas Tech, and he immediately gets defensive. And, well, you look at LSU, they spent a lot of money too. Stop with that. You don't need, I'm sorry we did this, or some form of, well, everybody's doing it. You did it the right way. You identified players. You can read the ESPN story that came out on Bailey. He was bound for UC Los Angeles or Texas, and they called him, just listen to us. And, you're going to give me that much? Yeah, I'm not only going to listen, I'm going to come. And I only have to spend 1 year there, and then I'm going to go off to the NFL. Ready, break. It's a no-brainer. They're offering you $3 million, they said. Way to go. You got your degree in from Stanford, so you got that as a fallback.
Good fallback.
Yeah. You can start a startup in the Bay Area with your $3 million, and you're good to go. I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't see anybody having the need to say, wow, everybody, no. Yeah, we bought these guys, and they kick butt. Aren't we good? Yes, ready, break. It's the world in which we live in. So be it. I'm not totally fine with it, but I've totally accepted it.
You wish it weren't so. But since it is so, there's no point in complaining about what Texas Tech did.
It's not a question of that I don't wish it wasn't so. I wish it was more uniformed. That you just, because Cody Campbell is giving you the money, that you couldn't just go do that. That in the idyllic world of fairness, we all have the same opportunity. And then who coaches him up? Who's in there at 6 a.m, busting his butt, her butt in the weight room, whatever it might be. Yeah, but so that's not the way it is.
The NFL hard cap, where everybody's got more than $100 million, but
how do you spend it? How do you draft it? How do you develop it? How do you make plays? Who has the good fortune of staying healthy? Because that factors into it. Obviously, the Devils did not have the good fortune of staying healthy this year. Sucks for them, but so be it. That's the way it goes. And I would like to see a little more of that, but those aren't the rules. And they played by the rules, and they're really good. And the Cougars, to an extent, man, they've got a shot. At least the proverbial puncher's chance.
I have heard that expression a lot this week.
Yes.
When I hear national people talk about this game, that is a phrase that they go to again and again. They won't rule BYU out, and they won't pick them either. They know they could do it. They're picking Texas Tech, but they're going to watch the game and keep an eye on BYU.
Well, that's me.
And a lot of it in football, it comes down to, turnovers. You get the short field, you get all that emotion, you get all that energy, or they drive and they spend, and then they turn it over. So one time down here in the red zone and we coughed it up, gave it away. But the problem with that in this game and knowing how that's going to break, it's a little bit, you love The Godfather and everything. I think The Godfather's here in the turnover battle to this game. Mo Green, you don't buy me out, I buy you out. Hey, you don't turn me over, I turn you over. Both these teams are top 10 in turnover margin. These are not teams that make a habit of losing that battle. They make a habit of winning that battle.
Yeah, that's part of the sloppiness that I'm talking about. If the game is sloppy, if both teams are sloppy, favors Tech. If BYU is sloppy, massively favors Tech. If BYU is clean and Tech is sloppy, you got a decent chance. And that you're the underdog. You're the underdog for a reason. You can't ignore what we saw, because what we saw from Texas Tech wasn't a fluke. You can argue BYU being as loose with the ball and the freshmen and all that stuff, that was flukish relative to what we've seen the rest of the season. Okay. I can entertain that argument, but everything Tech has done from 1 to 12 is not a fluke.
I'd love to argue that. I'm not going to argue that. There's
right.
No chance.
And the good thing is that at least we do have a little bit of, well, it was a 3-point game with the Utes, and the Devils did get them. So there's a glimmer of hope. If they were just destroying everybody every week, no. But, that was a 3-point game with 10 minutes to go. And the Devils did get them.
How good can the BYU defense be?
It's going to have to be great. And not just so much for Texas Tech's offense, but it has to be great for BYU's offense.
Need the field position.
Yes. Yeah. You've got to allow them an opportunity to stay in the game.
Need to keep giving them the ball back. Is there a chance that they can wear down this Texas Tech defense? It's not that they don't have any depth, but, man, with some of the star talent they have, there's no way. I mean, next man up sounds great, but they're not bringing in another Bailey. It's not happening. So does he play so many snaps he gets worn down?
The idea being 14-0 after one, start making reservations for the Alamo Bowl while you're down there.
While you're where? Down there.
Oh, you're in Texas.
Yeah.
It's a few hours away, but still. So they need to send the message that not just to Texas Tech's offense, but to their own offense. We got you guys. We don't need you today to do a whole lot. We need you to do some, but we don't need you to do a lot. We need you to do more than you did. And when was it? November, October, whenever they played? You got to do that. That's understood. But I think that's really important for them. The defense has to set the tone, unless I'm totally wrong, and the offense is just clicking, and that would just be shocking.
But for a team that scores 43 points a game, whatever it is, and only gives up 11, to think they're going to win 10-7 is pretty outrageous. That's putting a lot on the defense. And to think they're going to win 30-27 is putting a lot on the offense. So really, is there a way to win 17-14, 20-17, maybe something like 17-6. The one thing in that game was that BYU made him kick a lot of field goals. Now, Tech was ahead and didn't, and there's this feeling like BYU's just not going to score many points here. So just take the 3.
Yeah.
It just makes it, it's
right.
13, and analytics may say go for it, but you're like, we kicked 16. They could score 2 touchdowns. They probably aren't, and they still wouldn't win. So just take the 3. And so in the middle of that game, I think they kicked 3 field goals in a row before they got another touchdown.
Right, and BYU tried to drum up emotion off of that.
Yeah, we held them.
Yeah.
But they never got anything at the other end.
I want to say it was
the whole thing is
the end of the first half they did that, and they got fired up, and you got to try to generate emotion. Especially when you're in the lion's den like that, and everybody's roaring against you. And you won't have that here. You'll have... if there's one side dominating, they'll make a bunch of noise, but you have the opportunity to make a bunch of noise too.
You'll have enough people to make noise.
And you're more desperate, man.
You're going to be outnumbered.
I don't think it would be a joke if Texas Tech lost this game and didn't get in, and last year SMU lost the game and got in.
Agreed.
Because right now, Tech's resume is better than SMU's resume last year. Unless it was some 50-10 game, but that's not going to happen. And so that would, if I'm your Mark, man, I hold me back. If that were,
hold me back.
If BYU wins and Tech doesn't get in, that's a flat-out joke.
DJ and PK, it's 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. David Locke coming up, talking Jazz. They've won 3 of their last 4. We'll talk with him at 8:30. Stay with us.